News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Welcome to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning.
And I'm Allan Gilbreth with KikiSideTV.com.
And anyway, Allan, I guess they can, never mind. I'm not. We'll go back to that next time. But anyway, hey, you can reach us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, or check us out at Tool Talk Radio on our Facebook page. Send us messages there. Hey, Allan, today we've got our buddy Larry Brown coming in.
All right.
This is going to be interesting. Among all the other things, I'm assuming, the guy doesn't sleep much in the summer. It's well, he really doesn't sleep much the whole year anyway. But we're going to talk about the history and the future of air conditioning. It's an interesting history, and it's probably debated the first. I don't know if you could say the first air conditioning system, but.
Well, there's an interesting and sordid history to all that.
So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get a little science-y, talking more about solar powers, solar-powered panels, shingles, roads, and like the Tesla battery, all of that good stuff. We have our must-have item of the week, and Allan, I finally came up with a surefire $1 million idea. It's the next $1 million idea here on Tool Talk Radio that it's gonna make us a fortune. I had the idea. You have to actually make this thing.
Oh, okay. Well, that usually works. So,
I got a lumber update, and like I said, we would love to take your phone calls as well on the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, and you can even send us a text that way.
Or better yet, send us a text.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all coming at you today on Tool Talk Radio. But before we get to any of that...
And now, Tool Talk Radio's weekly salute.
Webster's Dictionary defines the word inadvertent as the following: an adjective meaning without intention or accidental. For example, 3 years ago, Allan did his friend Joe a favor by agreeing to help him host a home improvement show, which inadvertently led to Allan never being able to sleep in on a Saturday morning again. Webster's also defines the word ironic as an adjective meaning happening in the opposite way as to what is expected and typically causing wry amusement because of this. For example, Joe found Allan's complaints about never being able to sleep in on Saturdays amusingly ironic. Throughout our history, there have been many events that were either inadvertent or ironic, but it's rare to find an event that is inadvertently ironic. But this is the only way to describe the invention of the device we honor today, a very necessary device that has saved the lives of countless people, yet it was brought to life quite accidentally and inadvertently. My friends, we give you the smoke detector.
Yay!
It's really interesting, Allan. I mean, of course, a smoke detector is a big deal. We need these. They're a great invention, but when I researched the history of how it was actually invented, I'm like, okay, boy. That's ironic.
Y'all were barking up the wrong tree, and then the tree caught on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about that. So Allan, so basically, here's the big paragraph right here. In the late 1930s, Swiss physicist Walter Jaeger tried to invent a sensor for poison gas because they just come off of World War I. Poison gas was the whole
Mustard
thing.
Gas, yeah, big thing.
So they wanted something where they could detect it early and get your gas mask and all that. So he expected that the gas sensor would bind to ionized air molecules and thereby alter an electrical current in the instrument. Okay, so that's what I guess he was going for. Some kind of was trying to detect a certain poison.
Well,
right?
but here's one of your first examples of the collisions of technologies.
Okay.
Because ionization was still kind of a fresh idea.
Yeah, well, I don't even know. I'm nodding, and I don't even know what ionization is.
Well, ionization is where you're moving electrons from one state to another.
Yeah,
and this is back in the 20s and 30s, and this was not an idea that Star Trek made popular.
Right.
This was an idea that only people like physicists and other stuff had really kind of caught on to. Mm-hmm. But this is a practical application where he went, if we know this happens, Can we measure it? Can we capture it? And in this really case, could we save lives with it?
Yeah, so they were looking. That's what he was focused on, and he got frustrated, and he lit up a cigarette because he needed to relax. And back in those days, I guess nobody realized how terrible cigarettes were for you. And all of a sudden, the detector started going off. He's like, "Wait a minute!" So it'll detect smoke, but not it hadn't got to the poison detection yet, which would come down the road. But so anyway, he's like, "Wait a minute! I think I'm going to get into the smoke detection game."
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we had smoke detectors, and it's ironic because, I mean, let's face it, cigarettes are killers, and yet it saved lives in this situation.
Absolutely.
So, but then in 1939, a Swiss physicist named Ernest Milieu, devised an ionized chamber capable of detecting the combustible gases in mines, which was a big deal.
Yes.
And then the first smoke detectors were sold in 1951 in the United States. So it took a little while to get to get caught up to where it was mass marketable, you could say. But just a very interesting history to that.
Well, welcome to somebody thought of a technology, then somebody a little further down the line went, this might actually work. And then it keeps expounding.
Right.
Because now we have radon gas detection, we've got CO2 detection, we've got smoke detection.
Yeah.
What can we say?
Yeah. Well, speaking of smoke detection, Allan, you're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got our lumber update, and we're going to jump over to our must-have item of the week.
Brought to you by Lightning in a Bottle. This is not a metaphor. We actually put 300 million volts of electricity inside of a bottle. What would you do if you had the power of a lightning bolt at your disposal? Well, now we can all find out together. Why should licensed and regulated public utility companies have all the fun? Get your hands on Lightning in a Bottle today.
Good old Kelly Cruz was, so... Yeah, Allan, I'm getting my hands on that, and I've already got some targets for that. I know exactly who I want to introduce to old Lightning in a Bottle. So.
I'm just resisting the urge to pun.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome back to Tool Talk Radio. Coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios, I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV. You can give us a call at the Big M Roofing. You can give us a call or a text at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, or go over to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and give us a like and send us messages that way. I don't know if we'll interact in real time. We might. We get alerts when they send us messages. But and of course, if you go over there, you'll get to see what our must-have item of the week is. 5 minutes ahead of everybody else.
There you go. Such a bonus.
Yeah.
Such a bonus.
Well, Allan, as we told people, we're going to keep everybody updated on the lumber situation, and I can only go by my own anecdotal experience. So I went into the big box store the other day, did my scan of the lumber department, and thankfully it is coming down. And most especially plywood. If you tuned in a few weeks ago, folks, you know that we had said plywood was just ridiculously high.
It was. Things
that might have been $35 once were up near $75 or $80. So at last check, Allan, I've got a patio cover that I'm starting next week, and for the roof, I like to use that. It's 23-30 seconds. I don't know why they can't just make it 3/4, but they got to get,
It got compressed. They got to be honest.
I guess they got to be very accurate. So it's 23-30 seconds, which is virtually 3/4 inch plywood. It was $75 a sheet, Allan, and now the sheets I need are about $55. So. Pretty significant.
We're getting back into a normal range.
Yeah, and 2x8s. All of those treated lumbers are coming down, and so, like you said, I think we noticed that these trends are working about 90-day cycles, right, Allan? You explained that.
Yep.
And hopefully the forest fires aren't gonna spike it back up, right?
So many things affect this. I mean, the logistics, the shipping, the lumber yards, the actual source material and the other thing is, guys, really cross your fingers and think no hurricanes.
Yeah,
no hurricanes.
Hurricanes, I don't think about, Allan, but that's obviously
you talk about a huge drain on the lumber resources, because you start looking at the amount of stuff that has to be rebuilt every natural disaster.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So it goes into the supply and demand situation. They're demanding. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
nobody's got a house, so guess where all your plywood just went?
Right.
It just
Gotcha.
headed to Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, wherever a hurricane happened to wander through.
Okay. Yeah. So we're obviously monitoring the situation closely because this is our bread and butter.
Yes.
So, and,
yeah, I have a deck to build tomorrow. So
Yeah.
I do.
So okay. So Allan, tell people what I'm holding up. It's and if you go to our Facebook page, you'll see it. Well, you probably can't read the label. Liquid sandpaper.
Yes, I was going, you're holding your hand.
Yeah.
Do you need to ask a question or go to the bathroom, Joe?
So our must-have item of the week is a bottle of liquid sandpaper. I posted it on or actually, I don't know if I did yet, Allan. I better double check. I might have forgotten. Anyway, we will get it posted. But Allan, let's talk about liquid sandpaper. I am a huge fan.
Nice stuff.
Okay, here's what I'm wondering about. This is what gets me intrigued, Allan, because so liquid sandpaper, it's sort of my go-to thing. Now it's basically also known as deglosser, folks.
Right.
So when you put this on something, realize it's going to degloss. So if you want to clean your cabinets with this is not a good idea. It's going to leave a cloudy film on there, and it's going to dull the surfaces. But it does clean, and it takes stuff off that other cleaners won't.
Well, it depends on why are you cleaning it?
Right.
Are you just giving it a little, I love the commercials, waxy buildup. Oh, we haven't had waxy buildup in 100 years. See, are you just giving it a little spritz? Are you just cleaning the furniture? Or are we getting ready to do some work?
Yeah, see, you don't have teenagers, Allan. Waxy buildup is a real crisis. So. Well, Allan, here's the thing I like. Okay, so, for example, if you're painting some kitchen cabinets.
Right.
That's the main culprit. For one thing, you're dealing with variables such as it's probably going to be an oil-based product. It might be a stained polyurethane situation, but the deglosser, it cleans it and it gets rid of whatever that kitchens. Let's face it, the cabinets get sort of a oily film from all the cooking, right? And you can't see it. It's just until you go to put paint on it.
But it is absorbed into that top layer of the wood, and something like liquid sandpaper, a good deglosser, helps get rid of that very, very, very thin top layer.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so what I've gotten to the habit too, if I'm doing any painting, even if I'm painting some trim in the house, even if I'm painting oil base over oil base, I'm like, I'm going to clean that. If I'm painting latex over latex, because it just makes the paint grab better, and it's less runniness. Like, how sometimes with oil-based paint, you put it up, like if you're painting a door frame or something, and you come back 20 minutes later and you notice these little runs because it takes forever to dry, so it has time for gravity to pull it down. So this prevents some of that.
Well, this is where a really good set of binoculars comes in line. We always love talking about getting the kids involved.
Okay.
All right. You want to get somebody excited about sanding? Seriously, a microscope or a really good set of binoculars, and you can actually see what's happening. You focus it in, and you really, really magnify it up. And that oil-based paint has that really smooth texture.
Wait, you can look at that with binoculars?
Yeah, you can get them set up right and focused down, and you can, it's just like looking across the valley.
Okay.
And you see that nice smooth surface that's that top of that oil-based paint. Then you go back over it with a very, very light abrasive, like a liquid sandpaper or other, and you come back and look at it now, and it looks like a cornfield.
Huh.
Because now it's got all those tiny little micro abrasions, and that is what your paint is actually going to soak into, fill into, and adhere to.
Yeah, it's like
you're making a hook and latch type system for something else to connect to.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a slick surface. It's not going to have some sort of, like you said, waxy buildup that it's because you put paint on there, it might stick.
Maybe.
But you've basically got a thin layer in between that paint that's just going to make it peel the next time somebody, drags their hand across it or something. So, but Allan, what's curious to me about liquid sandpaper, not to beat this into the ground, but it's a latex product.
Correct.
I would have thought something like this would have a lot more, honestly, I use this. I don't put gloves on or anything, folks. What I like to do is I take, I'll clean the dust off of a cabinet, for example. Then I'll take my those little felt pads that are, well, they're not felt. They're what are those? Like an abrasive pad. Dip it into the. They're very porous. They're like a quarter of an inch thick. Dip it in there, squeeze out the extra, and then clean and scrub at the same time. And then you come back later and you wipe off the excess with a dry cloth. Make sure you do, folks, and follow the instructions too. Yeah. Because don't put it on and then 3 seconds later start painting. You got to give it, at least 10 or 15 minutes to kind of dry. You got to
let things breathe and dry. So don't get in a screaming hurry.
Yeah. And also, what's ironic about that is you don't put it on and then come back 2 days later and do it. It doesn't have the same effect. I don't really know what happens, Allan, but they said...
Well, you lose your particles.
Is that what's going on?
You don't... When you look at, again, break out the binoculars of the microscope, you look underneath there, liquid sandpaper is exactly what it says it is. It has tiny, tiny little micro abrasive particles in it. And when you let it dry too much, the little particles, well, they're going to just become dust in your house.
Okay, gotcha. So, all right. Well, so that's it. Our must-have item of the week, liquid sandpaper. Get your hands on some.
Absolutely.
Grab a bottle. So, all right, Allan, I want to get to a few of these things before we get our buddy Larry Brown in here. So I want to I teased this at the top of the show, and maybe we can begin roundtabling this. And like I said, I'm the idea man. It falls to you to invent and implement these ideas. So this is just a thought I had. Now, this thought was born out of a crisis that happened at my house, right? Okay.
You do have teenagers.
Yeah, well...
Crisis is your middle name.
Okay, so our house, what did I say, Allan? Our house is about 60 years old, something like that. Okay, so I'm just minding my own business at work. Luckily, I was only working about 5 or 10 minutes from the house.
Okay.
My wife... No, actually, I think my son called... pretty animated for him, right. Dad, there's a leak in the house, right? My son is he understates everything. Oh, okay. In the background, I hear my wife screaming, "Grab another towel!" It's like, okay, get home now. So basically, I rushed home, and what I found was under the bathroom sink, she's trying her best to. There's water all over the bathroom floor, like everywhere. There's towels. There's everything trying to absorb this water, and it's just flying out of the underside of the sink. So the first thing I do, I ran outside and turned off the water at the street, right? Because we don't have a main cutoff, unfortunately. So I did that, came back in, we talked it over, and then we were looking at it, and what had happened, Allan, was the pipe right at the source of the of the cutoff valve just broke. It's old, and it just snapped, and you know how much water pressure there is. Thankfully, she was home.
Yeah.
We've had other situations. A friend of ours with that. They came home after being gone for 2 days. They have a 2-story house, only to find that the downstairs was completely destroyed. I mean, this was probably $100,000 worth of damage because of a water line that had just started running, and it ran and ran. They had to gut the entire thing. So so it can be a problem, or you nail a hole through your bathroom wall because you want to hang a mirror, and you just drove through a pipe. So here's my idea. I guess I've laid the groundwork with all this horror. Let's call this a smart water cutoff system.
Okay.
And so what I'm envisioning, Allan, is those little shark bite. There's these little connectors, people, that if you go to your big box store, you'll notice in the plumbing aisle, they're like a little sleeve. You slide 2 pipes together, and it creates a watertight barrier. They're really strong. And I want to say the brand name is Shark something, or I don't know, Allan.
There are several brands.
Several brands. So basically, what I'm picturing, Allan, is when you build a house, or if you add new plumbing on the water lines, on the hot water line and the cold water line, every, let's say, 6 feet, you have one of these. Smart water cutoff little attachments, and so it would have a sensor in there that if the water pressure dropped, or if something happened that was not related to just running a faucet or something, it would instantly cut it off. That way you don't flood the house. You'll have a little water that comes out, but nothing so terrible. So, because the reason I thought of this, Allan, is, they have table saws now where they have a sensor in the blade where if you get too close to the blade with your hands, it automatically cuts it off. So that's my thought, Allan. So talk to me.
Well, again, now we hinted at something like this earlier of when we started talking about the smoke detector, about the collision of technologies.
Right.
All right. There is already existing technology now, which is a water sensor that will turn off, let's say, the hot water tank.
Okay.
Of simple, it's really not that complex a technology to have something controlled by something else.
Yeah.
Be it a solenoid, a Waldo, whatever.
Okay.
So I'm the complexity of what you want to do isn't that hard. What you want to do though is a lot of it.
Well, we need a lot of it, and we need it affordable. Because we need what I want, Alan, is I want this to be so standard that every house is just built with these. It's expected that you have this.
Retrofitting a house would be cost prohibitive. However, if you were building a new house and you went in periodically and, like a commercial building, had the shutoffs in the right place, it's very doable.
Yeah. Well, we're going to flesh this out a little bit more when we come back, and then also we've got some other juicy stuff, including a visit with our buddy Larry Brown and the history of air conditioning. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Alan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV. And I forgot to acknowledge our super producer, Maximilian, behind the glass. You can give us a call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And be sure to go to our Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and give us a like and send us messages that way. And remind me to post the must-have item of the week, which I'm usually pretty good about doing, Alan. I got distracted and forgot to do it.
Got all excited about it, didn't you?
I think we covered it, the liquid sandpaper. So, and also, actually, now that I think of it, I wonder if, if I have to hide the label, because I don't know, are we allowed to endorse specific brands, Alan? I don't know. You're just nodding at me.
No, I'm just looking at you going, you got a Sharpie.
Overthinking this. So anyway, hey, Alan, and before we jump back into our next $1 million idea, I want to remind everybody, if you need to buy or sell a home, I want you to think of these 3 words: quick, easy, and fun. That's what's going on over at White Realtors. Beside the fact that they got Rick Bowman, their owner, and Kelly Cruz, which those are 2 characters right there. They got a foosball table, ping pong, a great kitchen. Beyond any of those, superficial things, they really want the process to be seamless and enjoyable and low stress. That's really what they go for, and they've got the experience to do it. They've been through every kind of market. They've been there, done that. And you need to use that experience to your advantage. So get in touch with them. The best part, too, is they can get you qualified, financed, and underwritten all in the same place. You're not jumping over to.
Gosh, yes.
That's a big deal. Sitting with people you're comfortable with and going, oh, no, you don't have to go to the bank. We've got you covered. We can get you qualified. In fact, they can probably even give you advice how to beef up your credit score.
Well, the pre-qualification system is there for a reason, and it will let you shop within boundaries.
There you go. Shop within boundaries. I'm going to put that on a T-shirt, Alan. That's very good.
Especially when you're looking at a house. I mean, you're not looking at a minor decision here. You're looking at a 5 to 30 year decision.
Sure.
You need some expertise in this.
Absolutely. So like I said, quick, easy, and fun. Get in touch with Weichert Realtors Benchmark. Their number is super easy and fun too, Alan. Well, I don't know if it's fun, but it's easy. 901-202-2000. 901-202-2000, or just Google Weichert Realtors Benchmark, or just drop by and tell them you want to play some ping pong or foosball, and they'll hook you up. So, Alan, before the break, we were talking about my next $1 million idea that I proposed to basically make a smart cutoff system. Now, this was just my idea, that maybe you have these little sensors or these little valves every 6 feet or so inside of every water line in your home, so that it detects unwarranted leakage, let's say. And actually, unwarranted leakage is a new name for my band. But
I was gonna say unauthorized spurtage.
But anyway, Alan, so this you said there's a technology that's already out there.
Yes.
Is this something we could adapt into something like this?
Yes.
Okay, talk to me.
Already. Well, one, let's talk about the recirculator.
Oh, okay. What's that?
Let's add in. All right, in a lot of commercial buildings these days, especially in medical buildings, if you turn on the hot water comes to you very, very quickly, much quicker at that building than it does at your house.
Oh, and I'm guessing there's a reason.
Exactly, because the hot water was installed in this building in such a way that it can be recirculated back to the hot water tank.
Okay, so go ahead.
All right,
I think I see where you're going with this. It reminds me of like in your radiator, how the water is like a serpentine and it goes through. Okay,
exactly. So what you have here is a return back. So what you are avoiding is having to bleed a line to get hot water, because the water in the hot water line. So let's say you went to take a shower this morning, you turned on the hot water, and then it is a number of seconds later before the hot water arrives.
Yeah, because it's got to travel across the house
so you have to bleed
get to
out. So you got to bleed out that cold water. Well, that cold water that you're just bleeding out, you paid to heat.
Okay, yeah, because it was once heated water.
And
that
when you turn
cold.
the hot water off, you now have a line full of hot water that you paid to heat. Now the heat is going to dissipate, and you're not going to get your money's worth.
Right. Okay.
So with a recirculator system, that warm water is constantly moving, so you don't have to bleed a line. So you're not wasting that money. So with that said, we now know that we can check a system for pressure at any point we want.
Right.
We also know that we have sensors that can detect water where there shouldn't be water. And if you have things like recirculating pumps or you have powered shutoffs,
right,
and this is not sci-fi. This is in existence right now today. Of a sensor could very easily tell the pipe to this side of the house.
Sure.
So let's say we put the water sensor under the cabinet in your bathroom.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it would have turned off the water the minute that sensor got wet.
Oh, well, so it has to get wet or...
Well, in this particular case, something has to trigger it.
Okay.
The problem with checking the pressure or flow is, well, one of your children may be trying to take a shower.
And that'd be funny to cut them off. Yeah.
So, you could put a timer on it.
Right.
So that after 25 minutes of luxurious bathing, it was time to start decreasing the hot water going to that shower to encourage getting out of it.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, of course, with everything being smart these days and having Bluetooth technology and Wi-Fi, there could be an app for that.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I was just, Alan, as soon as you said that, my immediate thought was my friends that I told you about, that they had that horrible disaster of being gone and finding their house flooded. Well, imagine if you had that app. And it's like, a leak detected, and you either cut it off or the thing cut it off itself. Right.
Well, you had an activation. It turned the solenoid that shut off the water pressure to that particular line. And then the smart device would also send you a signal and say, yo, Joe, check the downstairs bathroom.
Right.
Because we got water in it, and it shut off the water.
Well, because I was saying, I was just throwing a number out there, Alan. I was like, okay, let's put one of these little cutoffs every 6 feet or something. Well, okay, maybe that's not realistic, but put 2 or 3. Like you said, retrofitting an older home with something like this would be hard. However, adding 3 or 4 to an older home, that might be the difference between your house getting flooded or,
Well, it depends on where you put the sensors. Put the sensors in the most likely areas to have a failure.
Yeah.
Bathrooms, kitchens, anything basement, anything recessed, of course, is a great place to find out, or is there water pooling here? And at this point, you don't care if the water came from an internal source or an external source. You've been warned you've got water coming in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to get a notice on your phone every time somebody sends you a message on Facebook, I mean, how much more important would something like this be? Like
Yeah, I think this way, it's kind of like, hey, Dad, the basement is flooding. We turned off all the water, but that doesn't necessarily mean it solved the problem.
Right.
But you've been notified. You can now take action because, as we've said on this show a million times, Joe, water is the enemy.
Absolutely. So, and I just want to encourage everybody out there too to and I'll be honest, Allan, I was a little guilty of this. I didn't get a smartphone until 2016. Luckily, my timing was perfect, Allan, because when I got a smartphone, one of the first things I did was download the MLB app, and I was able to listen to the 2016 Cubs season when they won the World Series.
I'm so happy for you.
However, I used to be. I'm not resistant to new technology. I just don't latch onto it as quickly as a lot of people. However, I know you're Mr. Techie. You love the new stuff. Well, people, if you're a little bit stubbornly sticking to older tech, or you think that all the new technology is going to lead to robots taking over the world, I don't necessarily disagree with you. However, a lot of the new stuff is it's better, Allan, and it makes our life easier. I like the notion of being able to monitor what's going on in my home. I think we're probably going to talk about that with Larry Brown when he comes in.
That is the ability to smart app your home is going to become so pervasive in the next 10 years. You're going to wonder how we existed without it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like it's going to make our homes more energy efficient. If you're a cheapskate, you should love new technology.
Oh yeah. You definitely want to reduce that electricity bill.
Yeah. So I mean, so basically, just to wrap up with my smart water cutoff system. If you're out there and you think this is a great idea, remember, send those residual checks to Tool Talk Radio over here. But no, Allan, I mean, I think it's an idea whose time has come, and I like the notion of things that used to be catastrophic becoming minor irritations just through technology. So speaking of minor irritations, I threw myself a segue on that. Speaking of minor irritations, you're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about solar power, the future of how we're going to power our homes, and then we're going to also visit with our buddy Larry Brown from Brown Refrigeration. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Geeky Side TV. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And, of course, we encourage you to join the Tool Talk crew. Join the gang, I guess, over at Facebook on our Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. And Allan, speaking of the Tool Talk Radio gang, I want to mention something very quickly before we jump into our discussion about solar technology. Jay Hill with Big M Roofing. Allan, I got a question for you. Is your roofer a former insurance agent? Okay. How many people could make that claim? So Jay Hill, he's with Big M Roofing and Remodeling, and he is a former expert in homeowners insurance, and he's a contractor. Well, those two combinations have been pretty useful. They've been useful to me, I can tell you that. So, but it means that, folks, if it's time to replace your roof, you may qualify for this may be covered by your homeowner's insurance. This thing you may have a claim there, which is a good thing to know, right?
Well, at least in part of, once again, the collision of expertise,
right?
Of you got somebody that had a great history, and one thing that went, people on the other side of this need to know this.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what you get when you get in touch with the good people at Big M Roofing. Plus, let's just face it, Jay's, he's funny.
He's quite the
He's
character.
A character.
Yeah.
We don't get involved with boring people.
No.
Somehow we don't. I don't know. I wouldn't mind a couple boring people jumping in, but no. But anyway, he does a great job. He's a GAF Master Elite contractor. They have 5-star reviews all over the place with the Better Business Bureau. They get it done. And I mean, you could call Jay. You might have a new roof in as little as 2 weeks. Yeah. And it's a painless process. He will be up front and let you know whether you have a claim or not. But that's a big deal. That puts you at a big advantage knowing that when you go into it. And the thing I can't believe are these lifetime transferable warranties on a lot of the products they install. That is shocking.
Well, especially in the real estate market, any advantage you can give your property just makes you that much more valuable, and your home's going to sell that much more easily.
Absolutely. So if you have a roofing system that you can tell the buyers, hey, this is a transferable guarantee, warranty. So anyway, get in touch at bigmroofingandremodeling.com, or you can call Jay directly at 901-484-5645. And tell Jay to tell you a joke.
Oh yeah,
I'm doing that with all our sponsors these days, Allan. But hey, Allan, before the break, we do love getting techie, and this is, I had our next $1 million idea, which is sort of looking toward the future of home improvement. This is sort of a crossover because this is pointing to the future of home improvement, and yet the technology is here now, ready to go. And we're talking about all the different solar-powered applications combined with the house battery. And we are going to be shouting from the mountaintops about the house battery, right, Allan? Because this is the game changer we've been looking for.
I was trying to. We had mentioned this earlier, and I was trying to think. I was like, all right, we keep using the word game changer.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's think about game changers. Game changers were running water.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Oh, seriously.
Indoor plumbing. Yeah, exactly.
Right, game changer. Huge game changer. A flushing toilet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Romans would have liked that.
It's one of those things, all right, nobody really wants to talk about the potty.
Yeah.
But
we don't mind.
I mean, let's just be brutally honest that modern civilization is made possible by one simple device in your home.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think I can guess, but go ahead.
Well, I'm talking about the potty.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the toilet. Of another, just having water in the house. Of another, and I'm going to say big one is going to be the hot water tank.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, I don't know if that was, it's a big deal. Don't get me wrong. But I think when you zeroed in on the water, that's, and plumbing,
you kind of saw a theme though. It was all around bringing in water or taking out water or water management.
Sure, yeah.
Now we're really looking at the electrical.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, outside of the original battle between AC and DC, between Westinghouse and Edison, we really haven't, we've gotten better at electrical.
Yeah.
But we really haven't had anything drastic.
We want electrical power that doesn't involve having to dig in the ground and get coal and things like that, right. or just something a little cleaner and more efficient and cheaper.
And there's plenty of it in lots of parts of the country. But solar is like one of our oldest forms of power.
Yeah. And solar power is still a thing, even if you live in a cave in the middle of the desert. It's powering your life.
I was sitting there thinking,
light.
Could you imagine early, cavemen shoppers? They want that south-facing cave. I could literally say that.
The realtors out there showing them. Yeah, now you got the southern exposure here.
I had this image of your buddy,
a dinosaur-proof door latch.
You need a bear-proof door. It needs to be southern facing. It needs to, So but solar, and then of course I always bring up the greenhouse.
Sure.
Because that is like the penultimate use of solar energy.
Yeah.
And we've been doing that now for a very long time.
Yeah.
So, all right, now we're to the point where your shingles themselves can generate electricity. Your windows can generate electricity.
Right.
You can have a panel, you can have it built into part of the house. But the one major missing feature to this was the convenience factor.
Well, and capturing, storing
that energy.
Right. You can, they've had, like we said, they've had solar power for years, decades really, but it's great, but if it doesn't store the battery, a lot of these old solar powered yard lights, even in the last 5 years, they're so much more efficient and they're so much more powerful. So that's where that's, you
can get some amazing solar powered spotlights, motion detected.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing devices. You get these babies up and the little critter runs through the backyard and it will light it up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, drastic changes. So the solar energy has been waiting on our battery technology to catch up to it.
Right.
And now, not only has the battery caught up, not only is the battery growing up, but now we're going to collide in the smart technologies and other things like that. The next major thing in the house is going to be a battery that can tell you the health of your house.
Yeah. So, Allan, I want to just because we talk about this because you and I try to keep up on this information, but just folks, if you can't picture what we're talking about, a home battery at this point is what, Allan? It's about 3 or 4 feet tall, and it's about imagine a flat screen TV put on its side. It's about that big. It's not huge. You could put it in a
mid-sized
closet somewhere.
storage cabinet.
Right. So this could fit in a closet, and that is a battery.
Easy.
Okay. Yeah. And solar power, and actually you can charge it up.
Solar power, wind power, any power input
Right.
would go to this.
Right.
It would be stored in a very well-controlled battery system and then would be dispensed as needed out into the house.
Right.
So this, and we use the word all the time, but I think we actually use it appropriately this time when we say this is the game changer.
Yeah, because I think even if what I like here, Allan, is we can let both of these technologies evolve and develop and get perfected and everything, and we can still jump in now and start benefiting from it. Like the solar, it's just like hybrid cars. They started off, they were a little more expensive. They were, and the batteries weren't as efficient. And every year they get better and better.
Yes.
I'm convinced hybrid cars are going to be the way to go pretty much in the next few years. They're going to.
So is Ford.
Yeah. Before they jump to electricity. But that's the whole thing. And it's like, the more we're just big proponents of this because, like I said, I relate it to my laptop computer. I've said this many times. You plug the computer in, the battery's full, you unplug it, and now I am using no electricity for my home. I'm just running my computer off of that battery. Well, imagine applying that same principle to your entire house. It's like, hey, today we didn't spend any money on electricity. We used the battery. That starts to add up, man. You start doing that throughout the month. That's a big deal, man.
We live in the South. For those of you listening outside of the South, if you're over in the Southwest or you're out, or truly out in the West, you get a massive amount of sunshine.
Sure.
And that is all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, Allan, what if it rains? Well, guys, you got a battery. Well, what if I'm on the grid this week? Okay, you're on the grid this week, but you know what happens when the power goes out because of that thunderstorm?
Right.
Your lights didn't go out.
Yeah.
You now switched back over to battery power. And if you're judicious about it, I'm going to point out to anybody that has a health issue, your health device continues to work.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you work around that a lot, Allan. If you've got, an elderly parent and they've got a respirator, they've got some device that cannot fail, well, they've got the battery backup. They're good to go.
All right, guys, you can do without the CrossFit trainer for a couple of days just to make sure that you keep, this other device up and running.
Yeah.
So, but the thought that the health of your house, and again, I'm kind of leaning towards there's an app for that.
Mm-hmm.
This thing can come on and tell you whether or not you got power, you don't have power, where, and a tech interested person like yourself, you're the kind of guy that's going to want to know how full the batteries are.
Well, see, my big thing is I want a little meter on there that's telling me how much money I'm not spending. Well, I just saved $80 this week on not spending. How about an app for that
comes on and goes, oh, by the way, we put this much juice back in the batteries while you were at work.
Well, it's funny, Allan, because I want to when Larry Brown comes back, when he comes in the studio in a minute, I want to talk to him about this because I feel like there's a tie-in with his smart home system. But Allan, we're going to be watching this closely because it's like you said, it's not just a big solar-powered panel anymore. These are going to get more discrete. It could be your windows that are absorbing power.
Yes.
It could be your shingles. Think of that. You said the price is almost the same as a normal shingle.
They're getting there. They're coming down.
Jay Hill, listen up, man.
Yes.
You might be installing solar shingles in the near future.
Jay, you might want to say to Larry because you guys might be in the same business.
Yeah, it's just cool, man. I like this stuff. So people, sure, robots and artificial intelligence may be taking over our civilization shortly, but in the meantime, we can enjoy the ride and save a little money. The beauty of technology. Well, speaking of the beauty of technology, airborne technology. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break and then visit with our buddy Larry Brown from Brown Refrigeration.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Geeky Side TV, who's pulling the headphones away from his ear. Am I hot? Is the mic hot, Allan, or something?
You so need new headphones.
Absolutely. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, or go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and interact with us that way. Well, Allan, we got the man himself here, our buddy Larry Brown from Brown Refrigeration Studios. Nice studio, sir. I like it, man.
It's beautiful. It's so nice.
Absolutely.
Compared to our old digs.
Yeah. Ouch. Well, okay, I'm not.
we're, as they say, we're moving on up.
Moving on up. Yeah. Well, Larry, you are, I'm just going to be honest, a little peek behind the curtain, folks. I tried to get Larry. I had a simple question for him, Allan, and I thought he was ghosting me. Is that the term? It turned out the guy's working like almost 24 hours a day. It's funny, when it's 100 degrees outside, air conditioning companies get very busy.
Extremely busy.
What's life been like for the last few weeks, sir?
Let's add in, it's been hot, it's been wet, and there's been a big technology change in the last couple of years. So you're getting hit all three ways this year.
Well, and a pandemic. So
oh yeah, there's that.
That thing.
That thing.
Yeah.
So
well, that affects your technicians, right?
Well, it's been very. The technicians have been okay. I mean, we haven't had any sickness or anything like that, but the supply chain issues are horrible. Mm-hmm. So and it's really difficult to get all the stuff we need, the products to do our business. So it kind of. Well, you call the supplier that you normally would use. Well, we don't have that, so you got to start looking. So it's been a challenge all the way around to try to make it through this year. Fortunately, all our employees have, I'm gonna knock on wood, have been healthy. Everybody's been healthy. We're practicing all our COVID protocol, and business is good. Temperature's been hot. But the supply chain thing has just been really tough for everybody.
Yeah.
Not only our business, but every business.
Yeah.
It's been extremely difficult. So.
A lot of stuff you just took for granted suddenly is like a big deal. I had to get a gallon of paint the other day, Allan. I called 4 stores before I finally found the one I needed, because they're like, well, sorry, we're out of that. We've been out of that for 3 months, that type of thing. So I'm sure it's even worse when you're talking about all the features you need for an AC unit or your smart home or the Remy Halo or any of that.
All those products are difficult. I mean, as well, it's just like the auto industry. Well, cars are, you drive by the car lots and there are usually hundreds of cars and there's a dozen,
Well, yeah.
That kind of tells you something. So it's HVAC products are the same way. I mean, we're having problems getting different units, different materials we need to do the job. Fortunately, we've got a lot of great vendors and suppliers out there that we partner with over the years that we're able to usually 99% of the time figure out a way to make something happen. So.
Awesome. So it sounds like okay, well, hence the late nights and everything, Allan. So,
it's well, I've sweated a few pounds off this summer, so it's been out there.
It's challenging.
It's been a year.
It's been challenging, right? And so what we would normally like I say, what we normally call up the local, supplier and say, hey, we need 5 of these and 4 of these and 12 of these. Well, I don't have that.
Yeah.
So then we got to try to, you need 12, I've got 6.
Okay.
And then
I give you what I can.
Right.
Yeah,
we call another vendor. Well, we've got 4. And so then, so now it's taken, 4 phone calls and 3 deliveries. And we've got what we would normally get with 1 phone call and 1 delivery.
Well, let me ask you this, Larry, because I don't want to, and I don't want to sound like we're whining or we're negative. What I think is actually going on with this situation is it's actually making businesses like yours, and I have to say I'm experiencing the same thing. I feel like it's making us up our game and making us we're gonna be more efficient down the road and more leaner and meaner and better able to adapt to adversity because let's face it, that's what we're having to do now. So when we come out of this thing, I think it's going to make us stronger. So
well, yeah, we like to believe that we're able to adapt and overcome and all that, but it's just it's just been a huge challenge for everybody. It's everybody knows labor's been a huge deal.
mm-hmm.
So getting employees, getting transportation is huge. You can't get things are very difficult to get shipped different ways, and then just the manufacturers are not able to manufacture as much product as they once were. So all these things just contribute to the supply chain issues that we're having, and it's not only on our industries, the grocery business, the lumber business, all that, all those industries are affected. And so if you're a consumer out there and you're trying to buy something from anybody, please be patient. I'm sure they're doing the very best they can.
Absolutely. So, well, hey, so we're gonna be talking about that. Boy, Larry, he really is. He is really working hard now. I mean, poor guy. But Larry, we also want to tap in later into the show. We want to tap into your expertise because the history of air conditioning is actually pretty interesting, and we also want to figure out kind of where we're going with air conditioning. Like, what is the future technology? We've been getting very techie today, and we want to keep it going because Larry Brown is a techie guy. So. Speaking of techie, you're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's the history of air conditioning. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV, and the man himself, the man who keeps the lights on here in the Brown Refrigeration Studios, Larry Brown. Larry, I always suggest, too, when you introduce yourself, I hope you go the Bob Vance route, right? Do you say Larry Brown, Brown Refrigeration, every time you shake somebody's hand?
Sometimes.
I think you should, man. It's good branding. It worked for him. That guy, everybody knows Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration. I think you need to, just to suggest. I don't want to tell you how to run your business, but branding is a thing these days, right, Allan?
Well, it really is, and just all jokes aside, trying to keep your business branded and keep it in front of the public, that's a huge challenge nowadays, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, speaking of that, that leads very nicely into what I was going to say. In a minute, we're going to talk about the history of air conditioning. But speaking of branding and building your name recognition, Allan, we want to welcome a new sponsor to the Tool Talk Radio Justice League of Home Improvement, we're calling this. Larry, so basically we're assembling the crew, like we said. We want experts in all areas of home improvement to join the Tool Talk Radio team. If this is the Justice League, I call Batman. I want to be Batman. We decided you're Superman. Allan is Cyborg. We're still trying to debate what Whitekurt Realtors is. I feel like the Flash because it's quick, easy, and fun.
And he was he was the fun guy.
Yeah, so he's like so Rick Bowman, you're the Flash in this situation. So we've got Mike Serafolian coming on from Tri-State Interiors. I don't know. He's going to have to figure out which character he is because we're running out of the top tier guys. He's going to have to be I don't know, Hawkman or something. I don't know. Anyway.
That's I like what they do over there though.
Well, so Tri-State Interiors, here's the thing, folks. So this is when you need your kitchen or bathroom remodeled, what I like about these guys, they deal with all. They can do your high-end, very, brand new construction or high-end kitchen remodels or bathroom remodels, or if you're just an average homeowner like me and you need something, middle of the road, you could say you're not ready to drop $100,000 on your bathroom, but they can do it all. But the thing I like about Tri-State Interiors, they have the expertise, the craftsmanship, and the resources you need, but they're very strategic in how they keep their overhead lower than a lot of other companies, which means you're saving a lot of money. And let's face it, you guys, when you're looking to remodel your kitchen or your bathroom, go out there and get a few quotes. You're going to find they're all over the map. Some of them you could literally be saving $10,000 or $20,000 based on which company you go with. So,
well, and let's face it, they deal with two of the most important rooms in the house.
Absolutely,
bar none.
Yeah.
If you're, again, I go back to the real estate market these days. You're looking to preserve the value of your home, or you're looking to increase the value of your home. The two remodels that will just nail that down: bathrooms, kitchen.
Absolutely. So you're going to want to get in touch, and you're going to be hearing from Mike in the very soon. We're going to be getting him on the show. But yeah, Tri-State Interiors, we're very proud to welcome them to the team. So you can get in touch with them at tristateinteriorsllc.com, or you can call Mike directly at 901-409-1333. Oh, that's another easy number to remember.
There you go.
901-409-1333. Wait, how many threes did I say? It's 1333. Tri-State Interiors, remodeling and restoration. Very, very excellent work. We only deal with the best here, Larry. As you will
top
know.
notch. That's the only way we go, right? Top shelf.
And Larry, as long as we're doing this, we forgot to mention before we went to break. We mentioned that you're not sleeping or anything, but that doesn't mean that your customers are not benefiting in this situation. So you're going to be bringing us some specials today as well, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple specials. So what we're doing today is I'm offering 24-month no interest financing on any new Train system. So if you're interested in getting a new Train heating and air conditioning unit, we're going to give you 24 months no interest financing. So that'll, obviously you can get it now, get your unit now, enjoy the benefits of it, give you 2 years to pay it off, no interest. It's real simple. So you can take advantage of that. Or if you're interested in the Remy Halo products, $100 off on those. Great product. We're kind of starting to think about fall and winter coming here in the near future. So, that would be a great product to get installed now and take advantage of it. So if you're interested in any of that, give us a call at 901-362-1881, or you can visit us on the web at brownref.com, or you can check us out on Facebook. And again, give us a call, 901-362-1881. If it's in the middle of the night, I got my little cot right there by the phone. I'll answer, no problem. No, all jokes aside,
I'm going to be testing that theory.
We do have an answering service that answers the phone 24 hours a day. We do have techs on call. So if you have an emergency, let us know. We'll try to help you out. But if you just need to have a question or something like that, feel free to give us a call. I'll be glad to help you. A lot of times I can give you pointers over the phone that would help you correct a problem that you won't even need a service. So, and take advantage of that. Again, 901-362-1881.
Absolutely. So, well, Larry, air conditioning is in your blood. Well, HVAC, I should say, among other things, clean air. This is you live and breathe this stuff. And we wanted to tap into your vast knowledge because we're all about, we love looking back on the origins of certain home improvement technology and then also looking to the future. And you're pretty well versed in that. So we thought it'd be fun to take a look at the history of air conditioning, basically. So you're going to kind of walk us through, right? How far back are we going?
Well, I just did a little Google research, and it goes all the way back to 1558. So they, there was people that were even trying to develop ways to keep cool and warm all the way back into the Egyptian, since the dawn of time, basically.
Sure.
We all try to stay warm. They're in some of my research, they were talking about, the people that lived in caves, back in the day. That was geothermal, because now it's cooler there. So you could go in the cave and it's cooler in the summer. So people have, tried to adapt to the climates since basically the dawn of time. But the modern air conditioner that we all know about today, was really not available until we got electricity.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had to have something to power these units. So, that's when the modern air conditioning was in 1901. A gentleman named Willis Carrier did invent the modern air conditioning system. He didn't do it for home or business comfort. He actually was an employee at a printing company. And in order to control the environment in the printing press area, the humidity and temperature that would make the paper and ink do different things, they kind of enlisted Mr. Carrier to try to come up with something that would help them control the climate.
Oh, because if it gets real muggy and if it's then the paper's going to stick together and it's not going to.
Well, paper expands and contracts. Ink does different things depending on the humidity. So, in order to try to control that, they wanted to, cool the air and to cool the humidity. So they enlisted him to try to help them with this issue. He came up basically and invented the modern, what we know as the modern air conditioning system. But it was not, again, for comfort at the time. It was made for more of a process type thing. And then once they realized that, hey, this really works,
because all the executives are coming downstairs and hanging out in the printing area. They're like, hey, it feels pretty good down here. This is
absolutely. So what happened is that he spun off and formed his own company, and the rest is history. We've had some form of air conditioning available since the early 1900s. And as time has gone on, people have adapted that to their homes and businesses. And now pretty much all homes and businesses have some form of air conditioning, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the South. So, at first it was window units. People called them window shakers because they did really shake. They were really very, very vibrating oriented.
Yeah, I saw Seinfeld.
Actually, the first window unit, about half of it hung in the house and half of it hung outside the house, and it weighed over 500 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And so it was truly a window shaker. So very expensive. Only the elite could afford them. And then, obviously as time came on and developments, it became more and more affordable. So people started to get their window units put in. And of course, the thing with the window unit, it keeps one or two rooms cool, and there, it's a lot of temperature differences. One area is really nice and cool. One area is not so cool. So they kind of came up with a central air conditioning and started installing that probably in like the 50s.
Yeah,
would be a good guess. Like around in the 50s when it started becoming more prevalent of homes, and then as time went on, in the the 60s, probably the late 60s, early 70s, they were pretty prevalent in all homes.
Yeah, it's funny you say that too, because when I think of the 50s, I have a new appreciation for that because I feel like there were so many revolutions. Allan and I were talking about this last week because of the Briggs and Stratton lawnmower. Suddenly, it was not a hassle to have a lawn, and then that's when suburbia grew back in the 50s, and all the different technologies and television and everything. It probably was just as revolutionary as a lot of the stuff we're seeing today, right?
Well, the Eisenhower project was in full swing. Suddenly, the automobile was functional and usable.
Good point.
And I'm going to look at Larry and go, all right, yeah, you're talking about the history of air conditioning. I have been in a building in this city of where you go downstairs and there's a giant ship propeller, a huge chain lock, and a giant room that looks a lot like a walk-in cooler. And we were doing an investigation on the building, so we're going through and all this good stuff, and all the young guys with me have no idea why there's a ship's propeller in the basement of this building. And I am cracking up laughing. And I'm taking pictures and everything, and they're like, what? And I'm like, all right, guys, think about it. How is air conditioning measured?
Yeah.
We talk about by the ton.
By the
right?
ton, right.
Well, I never understood that till you explained that.
That is because, this is the cooling power of 1 ton of ice. And this was a 20-ton air conditioner that really used real ice.
Oh, yeah. But the only thing about ice is it did offer cooling, but it didn't do anything for dehumidification.
Right.
So in our area, you can drop the temperature, but if you can't control the humidity, it's not really true air conditioning.
Yeah, because that's the whole point. It's taking, that's why all the water is coming out of the backside of one of those air conditioners, because it's conditioning the air, which we talk about
And
a
it's
lot.
a shockingly large amount of water.
Yeah.
Lots of water.
Super interesting. And Larry, we appreciate that backstory. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about some future stuff. And we're going to tie it in, too, with the Remy Halo system and the smart home. Basically, there's going to be an app for everything. And there's even an app for Tool Talk Radio. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break and continue our tech talk. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV, and our pal Larry Brown, the man himself, from Brown Refrigeration, the man who keeps the lights on here. And he was here painting last week, Allan. He really wants the studios to be tip top. I mean, he keeps them up to par. So you can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline at 901-683-0989, and go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. Give us a like. And actually, Larry, they can go to the Brown Refrigeration Facebook page and give you a like, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Is that what it's at, just Brown Refrigeration?
BrownREF.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the website.
Brown Refrigeration is the Facebook. Yeah, just go there.
Okay.
We'd
awesome.
love to hear from you.
Absolutely. So we're going to continue our tech talk. But Allan, last week I gave you some short shrift. We didn't get our update on Geeky Side TV, and we look for that every week. So what's cooking over at that network that you operate?
Well, the big thing this week has been the Memphis Film Prize.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't know, that there is a actual competition every year for budding new innovative filmmakers to participate in. They can go to memphisfilmprize.com and look up the rules and all that. Well, this weekend, right now at the Malco on the Square, you can go down and see the 10 finalists for this year. You just buy your ticket, go in, you get to see all 10. They're short films, so you're not going to be there for 12 hours. Go in, you get to see all 10 of the films. They'll give you a ballot. You vote for your 3 favorites. And here's the real kicker. The one who wins is going to get a check for $5,000.
Not bad, because filmmakers are usually broke. So
Yes.
That's good.
So, I mean, you talk about, pro Memphis and getting a great spotlight on us and a spotlight on Memphis talent. The memphisfilmprize.com, and they can go to Roku, Apple TV, or Fire Stick, and you look up Geeky Side TV. It's a free subscription. And the show that is highlighting all of this is Kate Mobley's On the Scene.
Awesome. So, and as we say, if you're a content creator, you better get in touch with Allan, because maybe you'll become the next TV sensation. So
It could happen.
you never know, man.
Absolutely.
And it's funny too with this stuff, Larry. You never know who's watching. Sometimes even in our own humble thing here at Tool Talk, you might get a message from Australia or something, because with technology, anybody can listen anywhere at this point. So.
Well, you're absolutely right, and you never know, when the next door might be open, should we say? So you never know, if the right place, the right time, anything can happen, right?
Absolutely. So, all right. So, guys, before the break, we've been very techie today. Well, we're talking about all these different technologies, how they're sort of coalescing. We were talking about solar power and the efficiency of some of these new batteries, like the Tesla home battery, and there's an app for just about everything. You can monitor, all the activities in your home. You can even get a smart refrigerator, see if you're out of milk.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not quite there yet on the smart refrigerator, because I feel like the day's coming when it's going to nag me about, no, you can't go buy that gallon of ice cream. You need to go run a couple miles first. But Larry, you're in the thick of things with all of this. You deal with the latest technology with air conditioning. You've been giving us some history of air conditioning, but we really want to kind of zero in too on the Remy Halo system and the smart home system, because talk about timely services right there. So,
well, absolutely. Air conditioning. The whole thing about air conditioning is that I'm did some more research, and worldwide it attributes to about 20% of our annual energy usage is just for air conditioning in our homes. Okay, so anything that we can do to help, mitigate that, to reduce that, it's just going to help everybody. So people. So a lot of things have been developed. One thing is like the apps, programmable thermostats were the first thing to come out years ago. Now we have the apps. There's also a lot of units coming out with motion detectors, so they sense motion in the room, kind of like motion lights. Maybe the HVAC would set back if nobody's in the room. So instead of being 72, it's 80. When somebody comes in the room, it will automatically turn on. So it's just trying to manage energy is a huge thing in our business. And then, of course, all that goes back to like the efficiency levels of the air conditioners. And, again, with the smart home app, you're able to manage your AC unit, manage your usage. It even has a graph on there about how much your units ran in a certain period of time. Every day you can see where are we getting the most usage. Why do we have all this usage on Wednesday? We're not even home on Wednesday. Well, you can do a little research and say, well, maybe we left something on or forgot to do this or that or whatever. So it's just a lot of good information that you can use to help you, be more energy conscious.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said earlier in the show too, if you're resistant to newer technology, I sympathize, because believe me, I watched The Terminator and I watched AI and all this stuff. These movies where they're going to take over civilization, iRobot, and all this other stuff. But there is a lot of new technology that really, if you're a cheapskate like me, it saves us a lot of money. It makes the air clean. It makes it's just cleaner, more efficient, and less expensive. So.
Absolutely.
Joe, I will put your mind at ease. Okay. All you got to do is go to the garden center at any big box store, and they got those cute little wind chimes. They're made out of the long metal rods.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the bones of the robots that failed to overtake us. And you hang that on your back door as a warning to the others.
Right.
That's what's going on.
And then you can embrace technology.
Right. So when the wind blows, it's
tingle, tingle,
it's
tingle,
telling those evil robots to back off.
There you go.
Exactly. So.
You will feel so much. You will sleep tonight so soundly.
Right.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Let them know if they mess up. That's where they'll be. They'll be the next wind chime on the back porch.
Yeah,
right?
you're gonna be a wind chime, buddy.
But just with all the smart home technology, you're not only able to manage your air conditioning system, but you're also able to manage you can control your door locks. You can control your garage door. You're going to be able to control your appliances at one time with this Z-Wave technology. So you can turn the dryer on, you can turn the stove on, you can make sure you turned it off. The refrigerator, you're able to manage things in your refrigerator, where maybe certain areas of the refrigerator you want colder than other areas. Or I do have a smart refrigerator and it has cameras inside, so it's pretty neat if you're at the grocery store and go, do we need milk?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Let me look. And you can look and see look in the refrigerator.
Has it ever lectured you that you're not buying healthy enough food, Larry?
No, I turned that part off. So
he turned that notification system
that's right.
out.
There's a little thing in there. No, but seriously, it's it has a stereo on it. It has like recipes come up, weather. So it's pretty neat that you're able to use all that. But and you could control it. Say the oven. If you had a smart oven, you're on your way home. I want to start dinner. I'm gonna preheat the oven, or I'm on my way to work. Did I turn the oven off, or did I turn that off, or did whatever? And so it helps you manage all that. And it is a little technology that you have to get used to, but once you embrace it, you'll be fine.
Well, and here's the thing, too. All of us in our own way, nobody wants pollution. Nobody wants the air to get bad. Nobody wants us to run out of oil. So we all agree on it. We don't always agree on how to achieve that. Well, this kind of technology, I'm sorry, folks, it's just more efficient. And in our own way, in our own daily lives, if we start easing off the grid and making, putting less of a strain on things and saving money. That's always been my thing, Alan, is like you have to give people incentive to do this. And if your incentive is, hey, your electric bill is you're gonna save $100 a month on your electric bill, that's pretty good incentive right there.
Well, it's also a great way of monitoring the family.
Well, you're all about that.
Well, but I'm going to throw in, if
brother.
you have young children or you have an older parent that you're caring for, you can have your smart home system alert you when certain things are turned on or turned off.
Yeah,
Right.
good
So
point.
if you're worried about X, whatever X is, of that can notify you so that you can pick up the phone and call.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's lots of applications.
Absolutely. Hey, Larry, before we go to break, once more, you and beyond just giving us great technology, you always give us some good specials for our listeners. So what do we got today?
So if you're interested in a new Train heating and air conditioning system, we're offering 24-month no interest financing. So any of our Train products out there, you can take advantage of that great finance offer. Makes it a lot easier to pay for them. 24 months. Enjoy it now. Pay for it as you go. $100 off on our Remy Halo products. So you can take advantage of that. It's a great product, $100 off. Give us a call, 362-1881, or visit us on the web, brownref.com.
Awesome. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from Geeky Side TV, and the man himself, Larry Brown from Brown Refrigeration. Our number is, you can get in touch with us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, or better yet, go to the Facebook page. Give us a like, join the Tool Talk Radio, gang over there. Send, we really like pictures and videos, especially of things that went wrong. Let's just be honest, Al.
Well, I like
We
to show
learn
off
from our
triumph
mistakes.
pictures, but, disasters are fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and by the way, I forgot to remind everybody of this earlier, Alan. If you need a deck or a pergola or a patio cover or really anything made out of wood for the outside of your home, it's a great time to call me because lumber prices are starting to go down. There's a supply finally, Larry. I mean, now I can actually get my, I'm not really having a problem with supply for lumber. I'm luckier than you are, but it still needs to come down in price a little, but it's a lot more affordable, and it's a good time to do something cool on the outside of your home. So if you need to do that, get in touch with me directly at 901-921-7105, or go to my website, thorshomes.com. And we just want to remind everybody, we're still on the lookout. We're assembling the crew. We're assembling home improvement experts in all fields. So we got our AC covered, Alan. We got, Larry's got that covered. We've got our roofing covered. But if you're in the field, it's a great way to get exposure to your business, and it's a lot of fun. And you might get a really cool nickname too here. I'm Batman. You're Larry's Superman. You might get a really cool character. So get in before all of the, before Hawkman is claimed.
That's right. All the characters are gone, right?
Yeah. So get in touch with me directly if you're interested at 901-921-7105. Well, Larry, we've been talking, we really do love talking about the intersection of technology and the way they're all sort of coalescing. And really, HVAC is it's a central part of all of this. And with your smart home system, with your Remy Halo systems, of everything you do over there, it's just, you're paying attention to this every day, aren't you?
Well, we try to keep abreast of new technologies. We're not the one that's going to jump right on board or something. I want to try to, make sure it's actually going to be a proven technology. But, we embrace all this all the new stuff that comes out, try to offer it to our customers, let them decide what's best for them. But because I can't, some people just aren't going to embrace the smart home. If you're not going to use it, then you don't need to put it in your home. Okay. But once you use it and realize how all the stuff that you could do with it and all the benefits, like we were talking earlier, you can monitor your door opening. So what if you got some kids that come home from school and they're supposed to be home at 3:30, you want to see the door open at 3:30, and so it just gives you that peace of mind. So it's, hey, yeah, they came home, they made it in. If you had a video, you could see, well, yeah, they made it home. They bring anybody with them. Do they bring all their?
Larry's got those big brother instincts a little bit,
well,
but no,
I mean,
it's a safety thing.
Or like an elderly, resident of your home. I have an elderly mother that lives with me and my wife, and it's great to have something that if they're, God forbid there was ever an issue, you'd have some way of knowing instead of coming home and your loved one's been laying on the floor for 5 hours.
Oh yeah, I mean it makes sense.
It does.
Well,
great,
you've
great
got
technology.
that youngster with the proclivity of bringing home that new pet.
Right.
You can put the armadillo back outside.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
no, it all ties together, and it's like Larry, you gave us the history of the air conditioner earlier, and in keeping with that, I guess, is that what led to getting involved with this Remy Halo technology? Because that's another service you offer that, basically not just taking the humidity out of the air, but actually cleaning the air.
Well, and this technology has been around for several years, UV lights and stuff like that. But I mean, obviously it's became way more to the forefront with the pandemic involved, because everybody now is way more concerned about keeping our air clean. So, the Remy Halo basically is a UV light on steroids is what I like to say. So it's a UV light, but then it creates low-level airborne hydrogen peroxide that basically floats throughout your home, very low level. You're not going to notice it, and it's going to reduce surface bacteria, viruses, odors, and mold in your home. So it's going to be all silent. You're not going to know it. It's just going to take care of that when you're not there. So it's going to basically cleaning your home, scrubbing the counters, disinfecting all surfaces in your home 24 hours a day. And what other product can you do to get that?
Airborne particulates.
Right.
Yes,
I always
exactly.
remember that. That's what you told us years ago. I picture those little scrubbing bubbles, like those things. So they're microscopically cleaning.
That's
Does
right.
Are they cleaning our lungs, Larry? Like if somebody's
I don't know if we could, but it is cleaning the air that goes into
Let's
your
not
lungs.
make those medical claims.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
yeah.
hey.
So, but if it's cleaning the air that goes into our lungs, obvious our lungs should be cleaner because we're breathing cleaner air. Right?
Sure. I mean, if you're working in an old shed or garage that's full of mildew and you're breathing that in, well, this is the flip side. This is the good air to breathe in.
Well,
So.
as Larry and I were kind of talking, I'm going to throw in, I added a UVC cleaning system to one of my ponds.
Oh,
and you can't really see what goes on in the air fundamentally. But, it's one of these kind of like, I wonder if this nonsense really works. So, I added a UVC trap, which is just light bulb on one side where it's nice and dry and the water passes through the other side. And the difference was absolutely shocking within about 3 days because you went from pond back to water feature.
Yeah.
And being able to actually just physically see that kind of dramatic change of really made me a big fan of any of the UVC technologies where, all right, so you can't see what's going on in the air, but I've seen what it did in water, and it was dramatic. So if it's having that same effect in your home of how much less junk do you have floating around in your air?
Yeah.
And
I guess
I'm
that's
going to
it.
throw in, especially if you have pets.
It's the absence of a smell. Like it's not necessarily you're not going to be smelling lilacs and roses,
Right.
but you just don't smell the bad stuff,
Right.
Exactly.
which is what you want. Right?
So if you cook, if you cook something and bacon, whatever people cook bacon, you kind of leaves an odor. I personally think it's a great odor, but that's just me. But anyway, but it mitigates that stuff, so it'll just kind of clean it up in the air. So and whatever you're cooking, different things like that, it's just cleaning the air 24 hours a day, and it's like the scrubbing bubbles, but they're microscopic.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And and then also it's able to kill viruses. Now, it's not been proven to kill the coronavirus, but it has been proven to kill the SARS virus, which is the sister of the coronavirus. So
It's close.
It's close.
It's definitely going to give you an advantage. Let's face it.
Absolutely. So.
All right, and that's the Remy Halo system, and I mean it just all ties together with I don't know, all of your HVAC equipment, and then the smart home is kind of how you monitor it, right? I mean that's your way of controlling it if you want.
And you could put not only with the smart home, but you could put filter timers. You could put a timer on there for this light, so you have to replace the cell periodically. So you can tie that all into your smart home system, so you don't have to try to write something down and remember it. It's just going to automatically prompt up and tell you when it needs to be taken care of.
Absolutely.
So how you need to, your filter needs to be changed. Your Remy Halo cell needs to be replaced. All that kind of stuff's available through the smart home app, Nexia app.
And that's where I'm going to just jump up and down and say, ladies and gentlemen, you have no idea how convenient it is to have your everyday just maintenance items pop up.
Mm-hmm.
It is so amazing. I know we all say we're going to remember. Oh, yeah, I can remember that. Oh, yeah, I can remember that. All right, folks, how busy do you get?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just, things slip your mind, and suddenly this thing pops up. And honestly, when stuff shows up on my phone, you kind of sound like a little bit like an idiot, but it's wonderful because you kind of like, it's August already. Seriously, you're just kind of like, wait, did I just replace this filter? No, you replaced that filter 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 12 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Time gets away from you so easily.
You know something, Larry? You're making me think of stuff. I will say you and Allan always trigger thoughts, and not always good thoughts, but a lot of times you're thought-provoking people. Well, Allan, you remember last week we were talking about the psychological benefits of working with your hands.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I could see psychological benefits attached to your modern technology with the smart home system and all that, and sending you these notifications and reminders, because you've seen the dashboard of my truck, Allan.
Oh, yeah.
I have these little notes all over the dashboard, because if I'm not looking at it directly, I'm going to forget to pay the bill on the 19th, or I'm going to forget to do whatever.
You do look like a notepad exploded.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. That stuff is every day I'm looking at it. It's a minor irritation, and it's continually on my mind. Well, if I don't have to think about it except once a month when the little notification pops up, and just deal with it. Oh, okay, change the air filter. I'll take care of that in 5 minutes, and now I can go think about other things like Star Wars or something.
And it pops up and tells you what size filter you needed.
Right.
You didn't have to try to remember that either.
Exactly. So, and it's just going to keep you more on track about what to do on your maintenance items. Like this cell only has to be replaced every 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard to, I'm going to remember. I can't remember to do something 2 days from now, much less 2 years from now. So, it's just something you're keeping a better track of everything. You're knowing when to have your unit serviced. You're knowing when to have it filters changed, when to do things to take care of it. Take care of your HVAC system, which is going to take care of you and make your whole house more comfortable and cleaner environment.
Absolutely. So there it is, Allan. That's why we bring Larry Brown in here. That's why he's the foundation stone of Tool Talk Radio, because not only does he bring great technology, clean the air, he brings you psychological well-being.
Well, yeah, that's.
I mean, what more do you want, folks?
Accused him of that. But,
No wonder the guy doesn't sleep. So, but it's all they're here for you. So, Larry, real quick, how do people get in touch with Brown Refrigeration?
You could call us at 901-362-1881, or you can check us out on the web at brownref.com, or you can check us out on the Facebook, like us if you're there, or give us a call.
All right, awesome. Well, we sure appreciate it, Larry. And boy, people, you've been listening to another dynamic and action-packed episode of Tool Talk Radio from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. But it's time to get out of here. So on behalf of Allan Gilbert and my buddy Larry Brown, I'm Joe Thorderson. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.